What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo. We're going to get this party started with these two new characters, a little bit different than what I normally do. Usually I would just do a review about one, do a review about another, but today what we're actually going to do is we're going to see which one of these characters, whether it's King or Yuri, is actually stronger in PvE content. Now, before we get into this, I have no idea. I haven't done any tests on these characters. I don't have any clue which one's actually stronger. I'm predicting more than likely King is probably going to be, because she just has, I think, more things in her kit that make her more PvE viable as far as her damage. You know, she has increased target damage received in her core and on her skills, whereas Yuri just has it on her skills. That makes a big difference. You know, plus King here also has the increased 18% critical damage on a critical hit, which Yuri doesn't have. You know, I mean, King's just going to hit harder. She gets a bigger increase on doing dark damage versus Yuri's fire damage. I mean, there's just some big buffs in there. I mean, Yuri is an attack, so that does help her a little bit. But to be fully transparent with you guys, I did go ahead and spend $30. I did go ahead and do some more summons. I would have shown you guys that video, but it was a video that I actually made prior to the one that I'm making right now. And I was ranting through the whole video, and I was pretty much ranting about nothing. I thought Netmarble screwed me out of some cards, but they actually didn't. I'm not going to go into all that, but it all ended up being okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into Dungeon and Trials here, and we're going to see what's up, man. And I do have both their 3PGs. They're both leveled up exactly the same. As far as their builds, guys, we're not going to run any card sets on them at all. In today's run, in today's little comparison, no card sets. The only cards we're going to put on these characters are their 3PGs and their option cards. That's it. So because they're both attack, well, not both, but one's attack, one's balance, we're going to go ahead and use cooldown cards on both of them, and they both have the same 3PG stats. It's pretty interesting because both of their 3PGs actually give increased attack by 10%, right? And then the extra penetration by 400, right? Which is something that's really interesting, you know. Like both of them also give the extra increase of penetration by 1500 for 7 seconds on their charge when it's fully charged up. And they both get an increased target damage received by 30% on their first skill when it's fully charged up. However, with King, she actually has an increased target damage received in her core on top of this. This is something that's going to be a big benefit for her. Yuri does have a little bit more damage. Like she gets she gets 1,003. I believe King gets 1,049. And Yuri does have an increased attack. I believe King has a increased attack as well. Yeah, so there's the increased target damage received by 30%. She does deal additional damage is a little bit different. Yuri's goes up to 600%, whereas King's goes up to 500%. So that is the difference. But they both got the increased attack by 35%, which is pretty wild. I mean, King does have 7 seconds of darkness, but the big difference here is that, you know, with King's increased damage by 18% on a critical hit, and then the fact that she also increases active skill damage dealt to enemies affected by darkness by 120%. I mean, that is massive, my friends. And when you take a look at Yuri and you look at her core passive, she's a little bit different, where she deals burn damage equal to 70% of attack instead of 120%, right? That is a big, big difference between these characters as far as PvE is concerned. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Now, the good thing about their charge skills, I've got to play with them a little bit. They're actually both super fun characters to play in PvP. Actually got to play in friendly match quite a bit, and I'm totally loving it. Even despite the lag, really, really loving the new friendly matches. Very, very cool. We're not going to use any strikers. I don't want anything skewing the damage for either one of these characters. And I'm just going to be hitting, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because both of them on their first skill, they have charge skills and they have super armor on their first skill. So I'm just going to be charging those things up. I'm going to guard for a little bit, and then I'm going to charge them up a little bit and go for it. And once you use your awakened skill, your charge gets the full benefits of a maximum charge. So I'm going to play them both the exact same way and try to do their skills the exact same way. So we'll start with Yuri here. We'll guard. And we'll just wait. And since neither one of them have chill, we're going to be good to go as far as everything being an even Stevens here. All right. And we'll end on the 3PG here. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. I actually wasn't counting how many times I did the skills. Not bad. I love the little patty pat. Love the little patty pat. And we'll guard. So she did 8,279,000. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So 8,279,000, right? Now let's see what King does. And I thought this would be an interesting first video as far as, both of these characters to give you an idea of which one actually puts out the most damage. Neither dot that they have is a benefit in this particular stage against the spider robot. And honestly, like I'll give you guys, I'll talk a little bit more about the charge skills in another video, but I actually, so far, I really enjoy them. I actually like them quite a bit. There's definitely benefits to them, and I think there's some disadvantages to them as well, but it's a nice new mechanic, at least in my opinion, so far, especially with PvP content. All right, we'll drop in King. We'll hit that guard. Nice. I like when she guards, she holds her knee up like that. That's pretty nice. And all right. And their skills cancel really, really fast. Both of them, actually. Let's do it. Let's do it. Dang, it's a long 3PG. So, I mean, 8,171,000. Wow, 8,171,000. Now that surprises me. I actually thought King was going to come out on top. I haven't done this test. I had no idea who was actually going to be stronger here. So let me count their skills. Let's do it again. Let's count their skills because I think maybe I made a mistake here. And how many times I did their skills. So maybe that's going to be a big difference. We'll try this again. We'll go ahead and bring in King again if this thing ever loads. And we'll see what kind of damage she does because that does surprise me. Remember though, when you put cards on characters, that makes a big difference. We're not trying to see how much damage they can absolutely do right now. All we're doing is seeing the damage difference between these two characters. Just to give you an idea, but man, they're relatively close, honestly. But wow. Very surprised by this. Very surprised. I mean, Yuri does have dot explosion on her third skill, and I think that's what's making the difference. Wow. Okay, here we go. We're going to count our skills this time. Make sure they're both exactly the same. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 8 rounds and then the first and second skill again. Wow. Okay. So about the same score. So we did 8 rounds. We did all 3 skills 8 times, and then we did the first and second skill again. Okay, so let's try that with Yuri, and we'll try to do it exactly the same. Okay, here we go. I'm curious, man. Right, so 8 rounds. Here we go. Wait for that awakened skill, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that was exactly the same. 8 rounds and the first 2 skills one more time. And then the 3PG. So 7.9 million. At that time, Yuri did less damage than King. But not by a whole lot. I mean, really, both these characters are pretty damn close. I believe, the contributing factors are how often you're going to be crit hitting And that's going to make a big difference for King, especially with her 18% increase of critical damage on a critical hit. That's going to make a big difference for her as far as how much damage you're actually doing. But, you know, with a bear kit, right, with no cards on them, these two characters are actually virtually the same as far as their damage. They're very, very similar. I mean, that time, King actually outperformed Yuri. The first time, Yuri outperformed King. And, you know, Yuri's kit, I mean, she does have that dot explosion, something that I glossed over the very first time that I was like comparing these characters. I mean, that explosion does make a big difference, right? So, I mean, sometimes we forget how strong explosion is, especially when it's 3.8 times. That's a very large explosion. Yuri likes to blow up on everybody. But I gotta say, it makes me feel pretty good that I feel like both these characters seem pretty balanced out as far as not using any cards. You know, we'll be doing some future tests, seeing how these girls play, seeing how these charge skills actually going to be how charge skills really work in the game, and obviously testing them in other game modes. But so far, I really like what I see. I really like what I see from both these characters. I feel like there's a lot of balance to both of them. By the way, guys, I've seen Yuri hit over 1 billion in hard mode against Guild Raid, but she was level 40, so keep that in mind. So let me know how y'all feeling about Yuri and King. They both seem neck and neck as far as the damage that they're doing. They seem pretty well balanced amongst each other. So I'm really happy to see that. So let me know how you're all feeling about Yuri and King so far. Let me know how you're all doing in the game as far as your pulls. I wish you all good luck on them. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.